So this card is number 11, Justice. Not at all what I expected. Usually there's a female figure sat in a chair of authority. You'll have a sword in one hand and the scales of Libra in the other. There's also an association with Maat from Egypt. This depiction is actually reminding me of the phrase, "My father's house has many mansions." And it seems to me like lots of Eastern type of symbolism with dragons. And my daughter said it reminded her of a particular episode of Demon Slayer, the anime, but I can't remember which one it was. There's this beautiful goddess figure off to the left-hand side with a staff, smaller figure with a cape on next to her, and then this sort of dragon next on the ground, dragon and snake right at the top. There's just a close-up of that female figure, but also this idea that there's a cross, which is also like part of a room. A couple of figures there, almost like they're having a conversation. And then there's like a crocodile to the left of that, which also forms part of the doorway for that room. So down here, there's what looks like another room or another doorway, which is guarded by this sort of dragon with wings, 2 sets of wings. It's this being with a red head that looks like it's carrying a toilet seat or a toilet. And there's what looks like little children up above with wings. A couple more rooms and figures here. So that looks like somebody carrying somebody in the middle there. Above his head looks to me like a little Santa Claus, which represents the North Pole idea. And there's a T right next to that, which could be a symbol of the feminine or the Tao. Some more figures and dragons, etc. Sort of in the middle, there's like a tall green being, to the left of which it looks like a big massive pile of presents. So actually with this idea of justice, there's reward as well as punishment. There's just a slightly zoomed out version of that, so you can kind of get the idea of it. Like, there's so much activity going on at once. It's just a slightly closer view for that dragon at the bottom. And on the right hand side, there is a tall figure with like a horned, it actually looks a bit like a horned magnet on the top of his head. This card relates to Libra and Venus. I kind of get the idea with this card is that these are all like versions of gods, which you could argue are like energy forces or even thoughts, which are being sent out into the world to mete out justice. And that's giving people their just rewards, but also, the punishment that they deserve. And that can even be something as simple as a punishment you think you deserve, as in you're punishing yourself. Because there's this idea with Venus of like the mirror, so that each of these rooms might be a mirror, the world is a mirror of the way you believe and act out yourself, or sort of bigger perspective, the way other people believe about you based on the projections that you put out. And that's not necessarily conscious. I think becoming conscious of it, you can sort of observe how that's playing out in your life. So in a way, take control of it rather than being a victim of it. Especially when there's this idea of repeating patterns, the same thing keeps presenting itself. I sound like I'm pretending to be really wise there, like all of this makes perfect sense, but it's really hard to do in practice. It's so much easier to spot other people's mistakes. Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe.